Rick, the critic, when she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick, the critic. When she all up in your city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if she's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick, the critic. Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick.
Hi, I'm Rick the Critic, and welcome. I am so happy to be in your home today. Today I have a very, very special guest here, Lawrence Hewley, architects, Africa. We got so much to talk about, and I'm just so excited. Lawrence, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you very much.
I am so excited that you're here
Yes.
because you're like one of the pioneer here. Tell me a little bit about Noma and tell us what Noma stands for.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, first off, for allowing me to be with you here today. And the pioneer, I don't quite want to say that.
I think so. I think so.
But yeah, the organization that I am associated with is called Noma, and that stands for the National Organization of Minority Architects. And basically our real mission is to champion diversity in the field of architecture and engineering. Because if I'm not sure if most people are familiar with the percentages, statistics in the industry. There's about 100,000 licensed architects in the industry, and out of that 100,000, only about less than 2,000 are African American.
Out of 100,000?
Out of 100,000, and out of that 2,000, approximately 300 of them are women. And so those numbers have got to change, and back in 1971, there were 12 African-American architects that went to the AIA, the American Institute of Architects, their conference in Detroit, Michigan, and they actually got on the floor. Whitney Young Jr. got on the floor and actually gave a real pointed speech in terms of how the architecture industry could survive and not have people of color in that industry. And so over the years, those 12 developed the organization called Noma. It's based out of Washington, D.C. It is a national group. We've got about 35 different chapters across the country, and Los Angeles is obviously one of them. I've been very fortunate, and with my background, it's not so much been a straight path of becoming an architect, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not a licensed architect, but my path was, I was always passionate about design and art and interested in drawing while I was growing up. And, but I also had this passion of becoming a professional athlete.
Yeah, I'm looking at the height. What do you play? Basketball, baseball?
I play both. I play basketball and baseball.
Okay, because I'm looking at the height. I'm like, there's got to be some sports here.
Well, my sport was actually baseball that I really
okay.
thrived in, and was excelled in that sport, and did extremely well. Played locally here. I went to Dorsey High School, Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Wow. So you're local, LA local.
Local guy, yeah. Stayed in the area. At Dominguez, we won the NAIA conference my sophomore, junior, and senior year. We would always end up beat out by Laverne in the championship for the Western Conference, and they would go on for I think about 5 or 6 years in a row, won the NAIA World Series. Yeah, had some great associates.
How was that transition? Because you went from athlete, as successful, to architect. How did that happen?
Well, it was, they say, you never know what life is going to throw at you. And my mom, God bless her soul, she taught me early on, she said, don't be a one-trick pony, okay, regardless of what you do. I know that you want to be an athlete, and I know that you're very good at it, but continue to work on whatever your other passion is. And that passion was drawing. And so I love to draw. And so what happened is I was about to, actually after graduating from Dominguez, with a degree in public administration, I was about to, I had been scouted by the Oakland A's, Houston Astros, and the Baltimore Orioles, and Baltimore was really interested in signing me as well as Oakland. But the winter before I actually went to spring training, when I was going to play, try out for the Baltimore Orioles in spring ball, spring training, I blew out my shoulder. And so my attributes were I had a great arm, I played center field, right field, pitch, played first base. I could throw the ball on the line from the outfield to home plate on a strike, okay, on the line. And I had a 95 mile an hour fastball, curveball that could drop off the table at the age of 17. And,
wow, that sounds impressive.
And so I was really one of those young guys that had an opportunity to really excel in baseball.
But you know what, Lawrence, let me say this. I have looked at statistics, I mean, in the last few years where athletes have won, I mean, just made millions and millions of dollars and then lost it. And they're stuck. But that didn't happen with you. You transitioned into something else.
Well,
I mean, you don't see that often with athletes. You don't see them I mean, they just kind of get stuck. It's like, that's it, that's all. So your mother to say, never be a one-trick pony was just, I mean, that is profound.
That stuck with me. That stuck with me.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it like this. I think that what we see, on TV especially, the media kind of portrays most of our athletes as the ones that don't make it, that get to sign the big contracts and don't make it. So you see that story, but you don't really see the other stories. And I think there's a lot of us that are out there that were ex-athletes or athletes that have a tremendous amount of talents in other areas. And for me, my experience was, you got to keep the lights on. You got to pay the bills. You got to take care of your business. And so, fortunately for me, I had this passion of drawing. And so, what happened is after baseball, I got back in school and continued to work on my craft. Continued to work and took some classes over at West LA College, and became very proficient in architectural design and mechanical design. And after being over there for 2 years, ended up getting hired at Hughes Aircraft and worked there for 5 years on some great projects. And then another company in Pasadena called L'Oreal that was right here on Halstead in Pasadena, Halstead and Foothill. And then after that assignment, I was able to get on at JPL and work as a contractor for 10 years, where I worked on Cassini, Mars Pathfinder, Mars 03, and some really exciting projects that JPL and NASA were developing, and I had a tremendous experience in the aerospace industry. Then after 9/11, they tended to scale back a lot of the projects. Some of that project or money that was budgeted was moved over to the national security entity. And so we typically, a lot of the contracts were lost or they cut back on a lot of staff. So I was one of those people that got caught up in that. But I always had the passion of architecture, and I started working with a local architect here in Pasadena by the name of George Folks. And George was, he graduated from SC partially blind, but his passion was drawing. And he could draw everything, and I mean, he could draw anything. I mean, you show it to him, and he'd turn around and look the other way and be able to draw it in the next 15 minutes. He's got a picture of whatever that object was. And he was really passionate about architecture. And so I started working with him and kind of cutting my teeth on the architectural industry with him. And he passed away in 2004. And I started, there was several projects that we had open that needed to be completed, and I finished those. And then just started my own business doing residential architectural design, and you know, without a license, but just being able to do the work, get the projects done, and build a following in terms of people that were really passionate about and excited about what I had done for them in terms of their projects.
So yours is basically referrals.
Well, it's a referral business,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a referral business.
Very
and
much a
that
referral
means
business.
something in business. When you
Oh,
have
without question.
referrals, when people refer someone to you, I mean, you really got to do a good job. I mean, because people, they can tell you so quickly when you don't do the right thing. But when you're doing the right thing and they say, hey, listen, I got a guy here that can do this.
Right.
So now, I did go by a house, one of the projects that you worked on.
Yes, yes.
And that place was phenomenal.
Yeah, the Stewart's home, yes.
It was phenomenal. I mean, it was like, what did it start out as? What was the square footage?
Oh, it was around, the original square footage on that house was about 2,500 square feet.
Okay, and now it's
about a little under 4,000 square feet.
because it's huge. It was
Yes, it's
awesome.
a 2-acre lot up in Altadena, and we added a second story, added some lofted areas in their family room that they can. It's just it's a really nice family orientated structure that lends itself to say social events.
Yes, because in fact that was the home that they had the holiday
celebration
yes,
for the
absolutely,
music
and it was
event.
awesome. I mean,
Yes.
the place was. Your wife was gracious enough to show me, around. I mean, we didn't go all in the place, but we did look around, and the place was just phenomenal. I mean, I didn't even know that they had. But that's the one thing about Altadena. You can find a little 1-bedroom house here with 900 square feet, and right next to it could be a mansion sitting way in the back. You can turn down what looks like someone's driveway and actually drive all the way back in their homes. I mean, back
Yes,
there. So
yes.
that's the wonderful thing about Altadena, and so. This is just a blank canvas for you, obviously.
Oh yeah, it was really a real opportunity to kind of cut my teeth and really stretch myself in terms of the design aspect. Yeah, it was really a great project. It's a craftsman style home, so it kind of, you can't even tell where the addition was added to the house, but when you get in it, you see, oh my God, it's just a beautiful space.
I couldn't tell. Listen, we're going to go to a PSA, and we're going to come back, and you're going to tell us some more about this, because I am so excited to hear about Noma. I'm excited to hear about the ball. I'm excited about this whole project.
Okay.
Be back in a second.
All right.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Wanted to do.
Thank you, and we're back, and I'm here with Lawrence Hewley, member of Noma, Black Architects, and we were talking about architects and talking about the economy. Now, let me ask you this, because I was reading in a magazine that there are more children, professional children, coming home. They have graduated from college, and because of the economy, they cannot get a job, so they're coming home. And then there is this, what they call multi-generational, the elderly selling their homes and coming to live with their children. And their children, and I'm thinking about in your job, in your business, that they would have to build places, because most people don't want their children in their homes, so they have to start adding on wings to the place. And then when you have your family members, your mother and your parents, then you have to add on things where they're comfortable as well, because you don't want to take anything from them. They don't want to live with you, but if you have a complete wing for them, so that's where you come in.
Well, yes,
Okay.
that would be
Great.
ideal scenario where, say, a family needed to increase the size of their home. I would provide that service and be able to come up with a design that would incorporate the additional space, looking at what their lot size was versus their habitable space, and incorporate some techniques and things that I've learned from the people that I've worked with to enhance that design and help that client get the most bang for their buck. Oh, but one thing I must say right now is that Noma, the National Organization of Minority Architects, one of the things that we have been fighting for, our main advocacy is the fact that we're for all minorities. We're not just a black organization.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of...
Because it said minority, yeah.
There's a lot of organizations, like there's a Hispanic architects, there's the Asian architects. There's several different groups that are out there that have spun off as a result of Noma.
Okay.
And so, but we still are in the, I mean, matter of fact, for our San Francisco office, the president of that chapter is an Asian gentleman. And so we're really trying to emphasize all-inclusiveness versus an exclusive organization, especially now. And so that's kind of where we are as an organization. I just wanted to say that because I know that a lot of people think that we are a black organization. Mm-hmm. And reality is there are several blacks that are in the organization and was founded by blacks. But the real philosophy in terms of the mission is really an all-inclusive mission. Okay.
Well, I think that when we talk about our young Latinos, mm-hmm. our young Asians, our young African Americans, they need to see the face of someone that looks like them.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about architect, I know coming up for me, and because my parents were educators, Paul Williams was always a household name. Yes. And when we discussed earlier how he had to learn how to draw upside down because
exactly.
He couldn't stand next to the client because they were white. I was sharing earlier too, we went to, some years ago, I took my children to see the home that he built over here, and they still have places downtown LA, wonderful buildings that he's built that our children, when they walk by, they don't have a clue. So to see your face and talking about it's absolutely just an awesome thing.
Well, absolutely, and I thank you for that compliment. The key thing here is, speaking of Paul Williams, I mean, wow. I mean, you think of the Golden State Mutual building on Western and Adams. You think about the LAX, International Flight Tower, the original one that looks like the Jetson dome. That was all designed by Paul Williams, and people don't know that.
They don't.
And when you see that building in the evening, I mean, the way it was designed, I mean, there's so many ways that you can put light on it to really make it look, I mean, just an extremely dynamic structure. But you're absolutely right. Paul Williams, because of the racism that was going on in the 50s, I mean, he had to learn how to draw upside down. He taught himself how to draw upside down so he could sit across the table from his client that lived in Beverly Hills or the Hollywood area to design their home, and drew that design as they were talking to him at the table, upside down, to present to them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, and there's many stories like that. I mean, you look at Benjamin Banneker.
Yes.
Benjamin Banneker designing Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I mean, and being commissioned by Thomas Jefferson.
But we don't hear.
You don't hear those kind of stories.
No, you hear those. We hear about Benjamin Banneker, but we don't hear about him in that light.
You don't hear about him in that
No,
that context.
not in that light.
You know, former slave, former architect, former engineer, scientist. You don't hear about that. You don't hear about the Elijah McCoys of the world, okay? And the lubricant that he designed or came up with to help not only the steam engine for locomotive trains, but all engines for not only railroad, but for shipping industry, for manufacturing. They coined the phrase "the real McCoy" based on his lubricant.
Yes.
And so those are things that, especially our young people, don't know.
Yeah.
And if they only took a minute to really kind of do a little bit more investigation Okay, instead of letting the TV kind of run their life,
Yeah.
okay, in terms of who they are and who that I kind of look at it as the rite of passage chords that we both have innately in us that go all the way back to the Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Okay, if you think about in terms of who we are and how dynamic we are, and we're the best of the best that came from our country, our mother Africa. Okay,
Yes.
and as we've evolved here, we've come from a situation where we were completely castrated and downtrodden, okay, and looked at that way. And we have evolved out of that, okay, to become winners, to become the President of the United States, to become leaders in our society. So we have innately in us tremendous ability,
Yes.
tremendous talent. The challenge is that, especially our young people, they're not thinking along those lines. They want to be a rapper, they want to be a sports athlete, which is fine, you know. But you've got to have more than one skill set in your back pocket because, again, that athletic game, trust me, I know it, okay? And you can be the best. I won a national championship at the age 17. I won a national championship, was picked up by UCLA to help them in their summer program to win a national championship. A guy by the name of Bobbles Castile was on the team. Who played with the Dodgers, who won a World Series championship. And Bobbles, if you're out there, you need to call me.
Call him Bob.
But now, we have a tremendous amount of innate ability in us.
Yes,
and that's
we do.
African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans. But the key thing here is that if we're not looking at how we can get our skill set prepared for the next 5 years, especially our young people, if you don't have a 5-year game plan or a 10-year game plan that's outside of just the regular everything that you do, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And you don't know that you have an innate quality in you that nobody else has. Your DNA and your fingerprint are unique, okay? And you've got to look at that because, again, you might have the cure for cancer in you, okay? But you're sitting around chilling and not really taking care of business and really learning your skill, learning your craft. And so, you know, the thing you have to understand, God is planting something deeply inside of you that needs to come out. And one of the things that we do with Noma is with our summer camp program, is we provide the tools to help these young people kind of cultivate what those skill sets potentially can be.
Well, now tell us, please, how do young, because you take, we're talking young children.
Yeah.
What age?
Ages from 9 to 17.
And how can these children that have this in them and have a parent that doesn't quite understand it, and how do these children get in contact with you? How do they get in contact with the organization? How do they further what it is and enhance and actually put this thing together? Because they're just drawing, and it doesn't seem like anything to them. But you and others who have that would see that in them. How do they get in contact with you? How do they contact the organization to even find out if they have that talent?
Well, trust me, they all have that talent.
Okay.
But the key thing here where they can make contact with us is go to our website, and that's
Okay.
Noma-LA chapter. That's NOMA-LA chapter.org. And then they can find out more about what's happening with our summer program and then what we do and how to make contact with us. There's an email address in there that you can find as well. And I had to digress a little bit because, again, I know that over the last couple of years, it's been really a challenge for us to keep our doors open. We've been battling something. I think in 2012 we had our last really big camp. This past year we partnered up with one of the Greek organizations, Omega Psi Phi, to do our program because, again, our budgets, our monies was diminished, and we just, we're trying to keep the lights on.
I see.
Because of the economy.
Welcome to the club.
And
Yeah.
so we partnered up with them, had a great program, but it was mostly related to the kids that they had in their program that they put on a yearly program.
I see.
And it's related to the STEM program, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay.
And so they really appreciated what we did with our one-day camp, but we're planning to, and the people, especially the young people that have participated in the camp that may be watching this, we're planning to come back strong in 2014 on, and be aware that the national convention is going to be here in Los Angeles in 2016. So
Okay.
if you go to our site, you'll find out much more information about what we're doing.
And everyone can attend the
summer camp?
Not
Oh,
just
the convention?
The convention.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
So there'll be information there for
There'll
us
be
and
definitely
everything.
information there over the next few years leading up to the convention.
I think that it is, again, when you can bring your children someplace and they can gain some knowledge, that is always a plus. There's so many other negative things. I mean, you see kids on video games, you see kids on, I mean, do they have any games where architects, where they actually can do things on a video game?
Well-
Because that seems to be where we're headed here.
Well, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Computer-aided design is a part of the mainstay of architecture now and engineering now. And one of our tools that we use is a tool called Google SketchUp. And it is one that you can find on Google. If you go to Google and you look for the More tab where they've got more information about the Google products, there's another tab below that has the more information about Google. If you click on that More tab, the second More tab, you'll find SketchUp. It's called Google SketchUp. It is a free download for youth, or for anyone actually. You can buy a full line version, I think for like $400 or $500, but the free version is just as good for anyone, and it's a 3D solid modeling
Wow.
CAD tool that is very easy to learn.
Okay.
We use it in our summer camp, and it's amazing how young people, one, they have some tools in terms of how to use the tool
Okay.
that they can just start designing on the fly immediately.
Well, Lawrence, we're out of time, but I am so excited. I'm so pumped. I'm glad you gave the website information at the end of the program. The website information will come on. Call, support, bring your children. Come in. This is Lawrence Hewley, architect. You'll probably see him there at the convention, and just support. This is for children. This is about our youth, and we need to be concerned about where they're headed. So, thank you very much for letting us come into your home. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for coming.
Thank you,
I am
Dr.
so happy. You
Benton.
tell
Thank
your
you.
lovely wife I said hello.
I certainly will.
Thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you next week. We'll see you same time, same place. See you then, and thank you for allowing us to come into your home. I'm Rick the Critic.
She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the Critic. When she all up in your city, oh, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if she's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic. Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic. Rick the Critic. When she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the Critic. When she all up in your city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if she's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic. Rick the Critic.